Alright, here we go. We're testing all our electronics for the Indian Paul 2026 Alaska motorcycle adventure. Got both the phone and the camera hooked up into power. And we're going to test out this new microphone. It's the Insta360 Mic Air. Get some music going here and start the Waze. Yeah, we'll see how this works. Right now I have it with the windsock on. We're gonna try it with the visor up. Let's back out here. No, today's trip is just to the Dublin DMV to get the license renewed. I'm going to stop this for 1 second. Alright, we're underway. You can tell this windsock is going to be a little annoying. Right in my lips. We'll see how this sounds. Going to be a hot one today, about 90. So I'm trying to get this taken care of early. The DMV opened at 8:30, so a little behind schedule, but we had to walk Bethany to make sure we got that in before it got too hot. Alright, so far so good. Everything seems to be working. I also have a new RAM ball mounted on the top of my dashboard for my phone. It's a little shaky, so I did tether it to the windshield. So if that fails for some reason, the phone should just hang off that tether, giving me time to pull over and retrieve it. Already noticing that this remote for the camera is in a little awkward position. When I try to go hit the blinker button, may have to figure that out. Maybe put it on the throttle side. Alright, so yeah, this Alaska trip is going to be a real adventure. 11,000 miles over 23 days. We're going to see some amazing sights. First 2 days are really to get out there. First day, about 750 miles to Portage, Indiana. Then the second day, same thing, highway miles out to Brandon, South Dakota. Third day, it's going to get interesting. We'll continue through South Dakota, but then we're going to hit the Badlands National Park, as well as the Black Hills of South Dakota. We'll be riding on Needles Highway, stopping at Custer State Park, which, you know, every photo I see of that shows a huge buffalo herd. What's going on here? Alright, let's just kind of mosey on by. Yeah, so then, from there we'll spend the night in Buffalo, Wyoming, which is right on the outskirts of Bighorn National Forest. So then, yeah, day 4, we'll scoot through Bighorn National Forest, which has some beautiful scenery, mountains, canyons, just spectacular. Then we will head towards Yellowstone National Park. We're going to take the Chief Joseph Scenic Byway from Cody to Cook, Montana. Then we'll enter the park in that northeast corner, head down to Canyon Village, then shoot across the park to West Yellowstone and up to Missoula, Montana. Next day, we're going to head down the Lewis and Clark Scenic Byway, then up north to the Cooley Dam, cross the Canadian border and end our day in Oliver, British Columbia. Yeah, really looking forward to this part of the trip. Alright, let me pick this up. So yeah, from Oliver, we're going to head up to Fort Pierce, I think, British Columbia. We're going to stop by first some totem poles, I believe. No. It's going to be an overview of a lake. Yeah, and then just up through beautiful British Columbia. I think it's Fort Pierce. Then the next day from Fort Pierce, we're going to head to Stewart, Alaska, or Stewart, British Columbia, which is right next to Hyder, Alaska. We hope to sneak into Hyder, Alaska, and get hyderized at the Glacier Inn, which is a shot of some kind of alcohol. We'll spend the night in Stewart. Then the next day we're going to get up and try to take the gravel road to the Salmon Glacier overlook. You know, from what I read, it's about 12 miles of gravel and a gain of elevation about 3,500 feet. A lot of switchbacks, potholes, washboard. So we're only going to attempt it if it's been dry for the few days before, and we're sure it's going to be a good day that day. But it's a spectacular view of the Salmon Glacier, so we really hope we get that in. And actually, right before the Salmon Glacier, whether it's raining or not, oh, look at this deer. We will be stopping at, I think it's called the Hyder Wildlife Observation place. It's like a boardwalk that goes to an area of a stream where grizzly bears like to eat salmon. I understand they only feed during a certain time of the year, and I don't think they'll really be feeding when we're there. So we'll check. We can check in Stewart, and they'll tell us at the visitor center whether any bears have been spotted that day. So if not, if there's no bear, there's no point in going. So we'll just either head right up the Salmon Glacier or get on a road and head to our next destination, which is Dease Lake, British Columbia, I believe still. So that day is going to be pretty quick, less than 300 miles, I believe, to give us time to get up to that glacier if we really want to do it. Then after Dease Lake, the next day we'll be heading to Haines Junction, which is really, that day will be mostly the Cassiar Highway. And I believe we might hit Jade City that day. Alright, from Haines Junction, we will be heading straight to Fairbanks. So the next day, we'll be hopping on the Alaskan Highway and possibly, ooh, that's a chunk of, possibly stopping at Watson Lake to put our Waldwick sign in the signpost forest, the world famous signpost forest that started back in 42, I believe, by a road worker who was working on the Alaskan Highway. He felt homesick, so he put up his hometown on a post. And then in the years after that, everyone copied him. So now it's got tens of thousands of signs, and we're gonna add Waldwick. Couldn't be any prouder. So yeah, we'll cross the Canadian border, go past North Pole, Alaska, possibly stop in and see Santa Claus, then spend the night in Fairbanks, because the next day we're going to take a short ride to Denali National Park, about 2 hours or so, because we have a 1 o'clock bus tour of Denali National Park. Yeah, it's about a 4 or 5 hour tour that takes us deep into the park, where we hope to see some animals, and some mountains, and hopefully Mount Denali. So we'll come back, we'll stay just outside Denali National Park that night, and the next day we'll head towards Whittier, Alaska. Let me turn it. Whittier is an interesting town. It sits at the end of a long tunnel that's combined railroad and cars, and of course motorcycles. The tunnel is one way. It alternates between those modes of transportation. And the town itself, most people live in one building in the town. It's a big cruise ship stop-off point, and surrounded by beautiful mountains and all that. So the highlight of that will be going through the tunnel and seeing the town. On the way to Whittier is the Alaskan Wildlife Center, where you can see bear, moose, whatnot. If we have time, we'll stop there. And after Whittier, we're going to head to Seward, which is right on the coast and near Fjords National Park. We'll stop to see the Exit Glacier before retiring for the night. Then the next day, we're going to take a long ride to Homer, Alaska. Hopefully have lunch on the Homer Spit at I believe it's called the Salty Dog Saloon. Very interesting looking place. Then we'll turn around, head back up the coast, and spend the night in Anchorage. The next day, we'll get up and head north towards Hatcher Pass. Stop at Hatcher Pass, and then continue on to Valdez, Alaska. Another stunning ride, especially from Hatcher Pass down into Valdez. We'll see a lot of glaciers and mountains. Really looking forward to that. Then we'll spend the night in Valdez and start our way back home. The next day from Valdez, we'll head back to Haines Junction, stay at the same hotel we stayed on the way up. Let's see. Next day, we'll go from Haines Junction to Watson Lake, hopefully stopping at the Laird Hot Spring Provincial Park and taking a dip in the hot springs. And if we didn't stop and put our sign up at the signpost for us on the way up, we'll put it up on the way back. Alright, so I'm going to pick this up. It's actually the next day, Sunday. I'm just going for a quick ride to get some gas at the Quick Check. Yesterday I said we left off at Watson Lake, but I kind of screwed up the earlier stop the day before. So we'll be going from Watson Lake to Fort Nelson, and we will be stopping at the Laird Hot Springs to take the dip on that day. So yeah, that day will be mostly just Alaska Highway, about 300 miles, so we'll have time to enjoy the hot springs. Then from there, we'll go from Fort Nelson to Hinton, Alberta, and that day we'll be going past the start of the Alaskan Highway in Dawson Creek. Got a picture at that sign. We're actually staying in the same hotel in Hinton, Twin Pines Inn, that we stayed when we went on our Banff trip, I think it was 4 years ago. So the next day we'll be going from Hinton to Hungry Horse, Montana, through Jasper and Banff, coming from the north to the south. Last time we went from the south to the north, so it should give us a little different perspective of those parks. We won't be stopping as much as we did on our last trip, because we'll want to make some miles, but hopefully it'll be a good day to ride. So the next day we're going to get up from Hungry Horse, Montana, which is just outside Glacier National Park, and we'll get into the park early because we want to get on to going to the Sun Road, which we've tried twice before but have never been able to get on. The first time I think was during COVID and we couldn't get a pass to get on the road, and the second time it was still snow covered when we went up. That was the Banff trip. So yeah, hopefully we'll get through going to the Sun Road, and then our next stop will be in Glendive, Montana, which was kind of just picked at random to get the right number of miles in for the day. But it turns out there's a very nice state park right in town. Let's see, what was the name of that? It was Mako She something. But they have some Badlands and some dinosaur bones. So we'll probably, the next day, as we head to Monticello, Minnesota, we'll check out that park. Then the rest is just highway back, mostly highway to Monticello, then highway from Monticello to Portage, staying same place we stayed on the way up, and then we'll be back from Portage to home, another 750-mile day to finish off the trip. So in total, it looks like about 11,000 miles over 23 days, and a whole lot of fun. So can't wait. We'll be leaving 2 weeks from yesterday, and just a few more items to finish up, then we'll be ready to go. So see you next time. Bye.